Welcome to New Rechts, or for our English listeners, New Right. My name is Daniel de Liever, and today we're going to talk primarily about the situation in Romanian politics. And I'm happy to discuss this topic today with George Piperia. Thank you for being here today. And for who do not know you, maybe, you're a Romanian politician, you're a member of the European Parliament and vice chair of the Conservatives and Reformists, so the ECR group in the European Parliament. Actually, you do quite a lot. So to actually, you are part of many EU assemblies. For example, you chair the delegation of the Pacific EU Parliamentary Assembly, and you vice chair the delegation to the OACPS EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly. And besides that, you also have a history of teaching. Yep. You have a PhD from the Paris University, and you have teaching commercial law and consumer protection. And you have authored quite so many books on these topics. So I think we have quite some things to talk about. But before we get into the topic, I think people would be interested with your background, why you actually got into politics to begin with.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me to this discussion today. It's important to me to be here because of the fact that I could tell to the people, English-speaking people from Netherlands, some different views from Romania and from the European Parliament, other than you used to have it from Romania, because what is in this moment for certain is the fact that the information which comes from here and also from the European Parliament are biased by the so-called cordon sanitaire, sanitary belt, and also by the new concept of European Democratic Shield. So everything you hear, everything you know, it's somehow biased about this kind of censorship, which is completely out of the treaties. Anyway, first of all, I have to tell about me the fact that I am a very new politician. I just started this very interesting kind of activity, and somehow very tension kind of activity only in December 2023, so something like 1.5 years. What I am really, it's first of all a father, a husband, a son, a brother, and a friend. Second, I am a lawyer. I already have something like 31 years of being lawyer. My first 2 years was as a judge, as a trainee judge. And also I'm a university teacher. I am teaching commercial law in the law school in Bucharest, which is the first law school in the country. So this is practically the three kinds of grounds that made me to be a fresh politician. I have to also tell to you that I am not only professor in Romania, I am also holding PhD thesis title in Paris, in Sorbonne, in 2005. So it's been 20 years, and I am already a PhD in this moment, and also I am teaching other people the ways, the path in order to become PhD. So I am leading a school of PhD students. Anyway, the important for me is to tell you that I had to be involved in politics because of the fact that, first of all, I think our world in this moment at a crossroad, and is a very, very dangerous crossroad. We don't know how to do in order not to choose the wrong path. And also it's because of the fact that I do have the experience, the wiseness, and the will to do something for the other people. First of all, to be educated. Second of all, to act or to react. Because what I'm seeing in this moment, and it's not only in this moment, it's especially about what happened in 2008, 2010. You remember the fact that we had to face a very, very big crisis, financial crisis.
Yes.
The European Union decided to save the banks against us instead of us, and also to save the banks instead of countries like Greece, even Portugal, Spain, etc., etc. And that was the moment when I decided to be involved somehow in a civical, in a political, or somehow in a journalistic way, to tell to the people what happened, what really happened, and also what to do. And my involvement in these civic activities and also political activities was harder, much more harder, starting from the pandemic era. Because of the fact that I've seen that it's something very, very wrong with this pandemic's politics.
Mm-hmm.
It's something which forces us to go on a totalitarian path. It's something that played a crisis, and after this there were several crises, parallel or superposed crises, and the people was put in a situation of how to translate this in English, something like freezing, something like standstill, with stagnation, like a standstill. They said, look, for the moment, because of the fact that we have to face this crisis, those crises, and because of the fact that this is for your sake, this is, in German is something like in the era of Hitler. Es ist für Ihre Sicherheit.
Yes.
This is for your safety.
Yes.
Because of this, you have to wait, you have to stand still, and not to pretend the fundamental rights and citizen freedoms, because we have to work in order to do better for you. Mm-hmm. And it was the pandemic crisis. After that was the energetic crisis. After that was the economic, food crisis. After that, climate change crisis, and of course, it was the war crisis. And all of this kind of situation forced me practically to go public and to say, look, there is something very, very wrong here. There is no crisis, or if there is crisis, it's invented. And anyway, in crisis, those people which wants to become totalitarian, mm-hmm. They use practically this crisis in order to make you believe that they are doing good for you. And what happened in that situation, in that period? They reversed the priority order in the list of the rights. You know, starting from 1966, the priority was something like this. First, we have to go after the individual rights, because this means capitalism and free market economy. Mm-hmm. And only in the second place, we have to go after the so-called collective rights. What did the European Union in 2020 was to reverse this order. And now collective rights are much more important than our individual rights. And this means totalitarianism. This means Chinese kind of democracy. This means Russian, Soviet Union kind of democracy. You remember the fact that they said Russia, it's the danger. Of course, Russia is the danger because they are organized like this. Also, the political system of China is the danger. But what we do here in Europe in this moment is to copy, to emulate, to do the same thing in Europe.
It's ironic in a sense.
this union is not a union of a nation anymore, like it's supposed to be from the beginning. This union becomes more and more a Soviet Union. So practically this is the reason that I am here in politics in this moment, and I am losing my time, I'm wasting my time, my business time, being MEP. But I think it deserves, it's a good reason to be there.
Thank you very much for explaining that. I think a lot of people, even if they could not put it into words, a lot of citizens of Europe are kind of feeling what you're saying. They're feeling that some things are off. I think I'm quite curious because you say you're a new politician. How has it been like to be inside the European Union? How has been the collaboration with other parties, both inside the ECR and also, of course, outside the ECR?
Inside ECR, I do have a very good collaboration with my friends, my colleagues. I like to say that it's not only about colleagues, but also friends. It's been 7 or even 8 months that I know them, and some of them are became my friends. It's a good collaboration because why? We have common grounds, we have common principles, and there is an open kind of democracy in here of this group. You know, the other political groups are like militaries, like they are like Roman legions. You cannot have the right to do otherwise than the leader is saying. In our group, it's democracy. If they say, look, if you are not convinced that from your point of view, for your country's point of view, it's okay to vote like this, vote against. It's not a problem because it's democracy. It's not the same situation, my friends, with the other groups, political groups, because of the fact that they decided 5 years ago, 6 years ago, to introduce the so-called sanitary belt, the cordon sanitaire, which is one of the worst kind of totalitarianism because of the fact that this is like a fist in a velvet glove. What means sanitary belt? We don't collaborate with the so-called
extreme right-wing parties.
Far-right parties. Yes. We don't allow them to participate to decision. We only do this decision because it is only us. It is only us which know what means democracy and what means the importance and the responsibility of decision. And what is the result from the political and sociological point of view? The fact that the voices of the people that voted for us is in this moment shut down. Yeah. So if 30% of the voting people in France, actually it's more than 40%, it's 35 or something like 37, voted for the so-called far-right parties. There are 3 in France, and you do not allow to these parties to speak, to participate to decision. This means that you shut down a third of the population of France. And this is the situation that make those parties to go to the European Court of Justice in Luxembourg and ask the cancellation of this so-called cordon sanitaire. I'm not expecting to have a solution immediately. I even have the certainty that this court will probably say it's okay to have this cordon sanitaire. But nevertheless, the importance of what I said is the fact that there is no democracy when you don't hear the voice of the people, of a part of the people. And I think you have in Netherlands the same situation because, you know, as I know in this moment, you have a party, the party of Mr. Wilders, as I remember.
Yeah, the Freedom Party, yes.
Won the election, but he didn't have the right to participate to the government. Am I right?
Not entirely. Actually, there is now a coalition with his party. The only thing that they said is he could not become the prime minister. So Geert Wilders is not the prime minister, but his party is in the coalition. He has ministers, for example, Minister of Immigration, Yes, people are
it's not very right, but nevertheless, it's better than in France.
Because, yeah, for sure. But we used to have the same situation, but it's just that the Freedom Party became, by a big margin, the biggest party in the Netherlands. So people had no choice anymore, because if they would have not worked with them, probably the party would have only become bigger and bigger. And at some point, of course, they would find the coalition. So I agree in countries like Germany, Austria, France, it's much worse at the moment in this sense than it is in the Netherlands.
And let me give you another short explanation about what are in the interior of the European Parliament the relations in this moment, our relation with the other parties.
Yes.
So, when it comes from the so-called left or even far left, when it comes from EPP, from SND, from Renew,
yes,
all of the things are accepted. I give an example. The last fall, during the presidency, rotated presidency of Hungary, all the time in the Strasbourg plenary, the word on the mouth of these people was Viktor Orban, the dictator.
Yes.
Viktor Orban, the friend of Putin. Viktor Orban, the worst kind of dictator in Europe. When we say something like this about, for example, Frau von der Leyen,
yes,
they consider us being offensive. I had a written question sent to Frau von der Leyen, co-signed by a lot of our colleagues from ECR, and they don't even have given an answer to us, even they are obligated to give an answer in 30 days maximum. Now it's been something like 5 or even 6 months, because of the fact that one of the bureaucrats, small boss of the bureaucracy in the interior of the parliament, says that one of the questions was somehow offensive, and they asked me several times to somehow change it in order to try to give an answer. And I said, no, it's nothing offensive if I ask Frau von der Leyen whether or not she reduced the intensity of the control about the budgetary deficit of Romania, in order to make easily for the people in the establishment, Romanian establishment, to win more places as an MEP, in order for her to be voted again as a European Commission president. This is the so-called offensive question. They didn't give me an answer until this moment. So this is practically the difference between the so-called establishment people and the so-called populist people. Yeah, I have an idea. Excuse me for this. Another 30 seconds.
No problem.
In Europe, we consider as something very bad. That we do have a meaning, very bad meaning for the word populist. Yes. Populist means something which is hypocrite. Populist means something which is intended to please people, to lie to people, because they like to hear some kind of words and not to do what you said. But in United States, the word populist has a completely different meaning. Populist practically means popular. To do what people are expecting from you. And is the opposite, is in an opposite situation, is practically the antonym, the opposite word for establishment people. What did the Democrats of Mr. Biden do, and why they lost the election against Trump? Because all their politics was only for the establishment people and not for the popular people, not for the common people. This is why Trump won the election. And this is why our kind of ideology, sovereignism, will probably win the next next election when they will be organized. Yeah, so probably we'll have to also look and work on words, because sometimes words are mistaken.
I think that's a very good point. I appreciate that you're making this, because a lot of people for a long period of time were ashamed to vote for so-called populist parties or right-wing parties, because it's not seen as a serious solution. But we're seeing now indeed that things can be solved. At least the will of the people can be done. And I think that's also a good moment to discuss the situation in Romania, because I guess we have an extreme example of what happens if you don't want to follow the will of the people. Of course, a lot happened yesterday, but before we talk about it, I want to set up a little bit what has happened over a little bit of a longer period of time. Before we talk about actually what's happening, I want to know what you think. Why so many countries in Europe don't seem to care what's happening in Romania? Why do you think that even though democracy is kind of kind of being forced out in Romania at this moment, why do people not care about this in Europe, you think?
I don't know if it's true. Official media, mainstream media, establishment media seems to not be interested in what happened really in Romania. People like Macron, people like Ursula von der Leyen, they are very happy about what happened in Romania. And that's it. They close immediately the discussion, the dialogue. But regular people are very much amazed about what happened in Romania. Because, Romania is nevertheless a member of the European Union. It's been 18 years that we are a member of the European Union. We are a constitutive part of the Europe. And they say if this could happen in Romania, this could happen not only in Bulgaria, which is a small country. This could happen also in Poland, which is a former communist country. But this could happen in Netherlands. This could happen in Italy. This could happen in Germany. This could happen in France. Pays des droits des hommes. France is the so-called pays des droits des hommes, the country of human rights. Anyway, so first of all, I think that the more we speak about what happened in the 6th of December, which was practically a coup d'etat, the more the people in Europe will be interested about the truth. And the truth in this moment, unfortunately for our democratic system, I'm speaking about European democratic model, we don't know the truth because of the fact that official media tells people what is officially accepted. Yeah, remember the fact, if you want to inform yourself, do it from the official news, not from alternative news. Yeah, you remember what was the slogan in the pandemic's period?
Yes, yeah, for sure.
And there's also censored information. But fortunately for us, there are social media platforms which could be accessed freely, and we could have somehow access to information. About what happened in the 6th of December, people should listen very carefully what I said in this moment. It's not about this guy, Georgescu. The man, the real man, it doesn't matter. It's about principle. Because if this could happen to a guy like Georgescu, which was not an establishment people, was, I don't know, something practically regular, he had a position in the interior of Department of Expert of NU from New York, but that's it.
Just so people know, maybe people don't know who this is. He has been the one who won the first round of the elections in Romania, and after he won, which was surprising to many people because, like you said, he was not part of the establishment. Then the election was nullified, by the court. Just to give a little bit of context for people that are not as familiar.
I'm sorry for this, but I consider that you know what it is about. So this guy, Călin Georgescu, is the one which won the first round of election in the 24th of November, and the Constitutional Court of Romania cancelled this election in the 6th of December because of the fact that they said it was something like foreign statal interference, never proved, until this moment. And this is why they said, no, we have to go back to the election and to speak again with the population. In this moment, it's not about, I repeat, this person. Actually, in Romania, there are a lot of people which practically mistakes the name of Mr. Călin Georgescu. Some of them are calling him George Călinescu instead of Călin Georgescu. You understand? But so, it's about principle, because this could happen to me. This could happen to, I don't know, Mr. Wilders. This could happen to anybody, politician or not politician, regular people. It's about the rule of law. It's about the trust of the people in the vote, which is the fundamental tool of a democracy. And you know, the Union Treaty, the Treaty of the Union, which goes back in 1959, says that the European democracy model is based on the so-called representative democracy. And representative democracy means free and correct and honest elections. And that this is what we in this moment risk to lose. And not only Romania, not only Romanian people, also the European Union people, the trust into democracy. They said if this very, very common tool, very fundamental tool of the democracy, the vote, which we consider as being something already done, like an axiom, like an axiom, means things that you cannot, you don't have to prove.
Yes,
this is lost. So we don't have to think about democracy. We could think the fact that there are probably another kind of statal system which could be better, because if this system called democracy lead to this kind of situation, so we don't need any more democracy, and that is the worst kind of danger for the European democracy model. Because, you know, remember, Europe was not only the space of human rights, not only the space of well-being of the people and the peace, but also Europe was the space of the two most the worst two most the worst kind of dictators, two of them. I'm speaking about Hitler and Stalin.
Yes.
Hitler because of Nazism, Stalin because of communism. We could in this moment, we risk in this moment to go back to that kind of regime.
That's I agree with you. I think also J.D. Vance put it very well in his speech in Munich, where he says if there's a democracy, and of course the accusation is that Russia through TikTok campaigns could interfere by spending 300,000 euros. If you can basically spend 300,000 euros to rig an election, then how strong is your democracy to begin with? I think that was a very good point here. I'm not saying if it did or did not happen, because like you said yourself, we don't know yet what actually happened. But it's kind of hypocritical that politicians everywhere are interfering with elections everywhere. When Olaf Scholz said that he wished that Kamala Harris would win the election in America, you can call that election interference in some way. So it's kind of a problem. What do you think is the future now for Romania? How are they going to? Let's wait 1 second. Yesterday, of course, we had the arrest. Let's talk about that first before we talk about the future. What do you think about what happened yesterday when we were recording this? I guess so. What happened with the arrest?
Okay, some people were expecting to have this kind of event
Yes.
more or less this week. From my point of view, because I am not only a politician, first of all I am a lawyer, a man of the law. I said there is no way in 1 million years in Romania, which is a democratic country, to have this kind of situation. What happened was that this guy was on his way to the court in order to register the file for the candidacy. Yeah, there is a big file in order to be listed as a candidate, and this was what that guy did yesterday. They stopped him in the traffic. Yeah, they stopped him in the traffic, and they took him away. It was something like an arrest, something like 6 hours of hearings, and after this, they said to him, "You can go home, but you will be controlled, and you will be under the surveillance of the penal investigation bodies." Yes. Your phone, your conversation on social media platforms, everything. And if you will again say something which could be interpreted as being fascist, what's the word? Laudative to person which were in the past dictators and did harm to people, anti-Semitic, something like this. If you continue to do this, you will be arrested. You will be put in jail. So it's a kind of limited liberty given to this guy, but he will not be allowed to be present on the television to debates, electoral debates. He will not be allowed to do too much things on the social platform, anything which will restrain his capacity, ability to tell to the people what he is intending to do as a future president of Romania. I don't know if they will give him any more the possibility to register this file of candidacy. I don't know. There is no real constitutional reason in order to forbid him to candidate, but I don't know what will happen. Anyway, there is a deadline until the 14th of March, meaning 2 weeks starting from today. This candidacy should be filed, registered, unless he will not be able to candidate, to run for candidature again. This is what is the status in this moment. What will happen? I don't know. All of the people in mass media, Romanian mass media, I'm not speaking about the official mass media, which are in this moment exulting. They are very happy because of what happened to this guy yesterday. Forgetting the fact that in 1 year, 2 years, the will be somehow modified, and this could happen also to them. Anyway, all of the people are saying that there are in this moment invented but real reasons for the Constitutional Court to again interfere and to forbid to this guy to candidate again. And this means that we will have to have another kind of a substitute candidate, because otherwise we will not have a representative person as a representative person for our movement, which means sovereignty and populism, but not in the Think about populism not in the meaning of Europe, in the European meaning, but in the American meaning.
Yes, yeah, I think that's very clear. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, but there will be a protest on the 1st of March, meaning 2 days from today, we hope that we will have hundreds of thousands of people in the streets to peacefully protest against what happened, and we only have the hope in this moment that our voice will be heard, not only by the people, the establishment people in Romania in this moment, but also the establishment people in the European Union and the mass media, including the mainstream mass media in Europe, in your country, for example. So there will be a protest this Saturday around 2 o'clock Bucharest time, and we hope that our voice will be heard.
I hope so as well. I think there's no alternative, because if let's say the leading candidate in who won the first round of an election first of all, the election can be cancelled, then he can be arrested, then he can be potentially forced out not to compete anymore, then who's to say that another populist candidate will not have the same faith, right? At some point, if you keep putting populist candidates in and they keep winning and the constitutional court keeps cancelling them, then there's no democracy anymore at all.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest reasons of this protest of Saturday, because we fear in this moment that even we will have somebody which will replace Mr. Georgescu and win again the first round.
Yes,
we might have the same situation. Constitutional Court coming and say this is also a pro-Russian politician. This is also a populist politician, is not okay for the system, so cancel again the election. This is the biggest risk ever. But there is another parallel risk, as much as important than the other one. You know, last year Venezuela had presidential election. And of course, again, Mr. Maduro won the election. There is another candidate who says, on the contrary, it is me who won the election. And what is to know in this moment is the fact that Biden's America, did not recognize Mr. Maduro as being president. On the contrary, they consider, and America is still considering, even now with Trump in the White House, they consider that the real president of Venezuela is the other guy, which was the opponent of Mr. Maduro. So, from the point of view of the international position of Venezuela, this is a complete mess.
Yes, of course.
I don't know if their vote in NU, for example, is considered as accepted and official, because they do not have the recognition of America. And think about this, including the European Union has the same position. European Union did not recognize Maduro as being the president of Venezuela. They considered being the other guy as being the president. We even gave to this other guy a prize, a very prestigious prize of the European Union. It's called Sakharov Prize, because of the fact that he was in a very big fight for human rights and for democracy, for rule of law in Venezuela. And what it could be done also with Romania. Let's consider that we will have election without Mr. Georgescu. This means that I don't know, Ajax Amsterdam.
Yes.
In a match with Barcelona.
Yes.
Had as a prize from the referee a penalty, and also a goal scored from an offside position. Amsterdam will win, for example, the Champions League, but who will consider that this is a legitimate winning? And you, the Netherlands people, which are very good with football, I don't think you will be happy in this kind of situation. Yeah, the same situation will be in Romania, because it's the same situation. The guy who will win probably the election in with no adversary, no real adversary like Mr. Georgescu, will be in the same situation to win again, but in an illegitimate way. And nobody could be happy in this situation. And also Trump will say, look, you know, I don't like what happened in Romania. Elon Musk told me that it was something very, very peculiar in Romania. Also, J.D. Vance said to me that it was something very peculiar in Romania. We don't accept this result, so we don't recognize the new president of Romania. What do you say about this?
It becomes, at that point, when it's not normal anymore, like when you have a head of state of a country to be recognized, or only by a part, this is what you're going to get, right? You're going to have a part that's going to recognize one leader, another leader. It means internationally you cannot do anything anymore.
You know, I think that the better way for this establishment people is to say, we will allow Mr. Georgescu to candidate and we will beat him because we are better than him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but they are, I don't want to use this word, but they are kind of stupid because they could make the situation be better for them, saying, look, I am not afraid of Mr. Georgescu. Let him candidate. I will beat him in the election. They do not do this. They are very, very afraid. And I think that Mr. Macron said to him, it doesn't matter what the population in Romania says. Go and do this and this and this.
I agree. I would have one last question for you. That is, what can people that are watching this, what can they do to help the people of Romania?
First of all, to try to understand what happened here, to look at the real news, not about official news, to spread the reality, to spread the idea, and also to speak to the mass media, to speak to the international institution, including to the Ombudsman of European Union, and including with the President of the Parliament, including with the President of the European Commission, because it cannot happen something like this in Europe because of the fact that we will have this precedent in Romania. And from my point of view, what is to do not only for the Romanian, but also for all the 460 million people of European Union, including the Netherlands one, the Dutch people, it's to go back to to U-turn with 180 degrees to the origin of the European Union. And the European Union is not a federation, is not a Soviet Union. The European Union is an alliance, a treaty among independent nation. It's a space of free commerce. It's a space of peace. It's a space of collaboration, cooperation. It's not a federation. It's not a way of centralizing the power and to give to people like Frau von der Leyen hundreds of billions of euros to spend on chimeras, on stupid and pseudo-scientific ideas, like, for example, Green Deal. About Green Deal, just a second. What do you say about, what can you say to me in this moment, or to your listener, about that enquete against Mr. Timmermans? You know, Mr. Timmermans is now under enquete because of the fact that he somehow bribed some MEPs in order to be much more friendly from the point of view of Green Deal. And I don't know what happened in this moment.
We actually covered this quite a lot. Basically, the situation is now that Frans Timmermans, there are some leaked secret contracts between the European Commission and climate left-wing NGOs that in order to get funding of the European Commission, that they would need to basically advocate for the policy of the European Commission to the media, to other politicians, to national level of politics, etc. So there's now investigation of this at the moment. We have parties like, for example, the Farmer Party, who are trying to get to the bottom of this. Sadly, it's very hard to really know what happened exactly. So something's leaked out, and we are, as a news outlet, we are covering this a lot. But let's put it like this: we still need to wait for more things to come out, and I'm a little bit skeptical if everything will come out. But we have to hope and we have to try by keep talking about it.
Yeah, I hope you will have a solution immediately, but because there is a saying here in Romania, something like this: if there is smoke, of course there is a fire somehow.
Somewhere. Yes.
Yeah.
If people want to follow your work, where could our listeners follow what you have to say?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page. Also, I have a X page, and also I have a YouTube page. But nevertheless, the best way to see what I am doing is to go on my page, official page of MEP.
All right. Yeah. I really want to thank you for taking the time in with this very serious topic to discuss it with me, so that also our listeners can get a different point of view about what's happening. I hope that the situation will get better in Romania, and let's stay in touch. If things change, we can always have a new discussion in the future to discuss the fate of Romania. And yes, I also want to thank our listeners for listening to this conversation. And if people want to support what we do, they can always go to nieuwrechts.nl to support us. So thank you very much.
I thank you very much, and God bless us, everybody.
Yes, indeed. And see you in the next one.
See you. Bye. Thank you.